welcome back to everybody to another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Today we have a very special guest. You know him, award-winning actor, voice actor, just a all-around incredible person. Keith David, thanks for being here today.
Hey, man, I am happy to be here.
Thank you very, very much for being here today. We were worried about that. It was touch and go. Then I just for what it's worth, we're kind of doing a little work here earlier today. I'm wearing the same shirt. Oh, well. And I thought, wow, it's too bad Keith not. Hey, look, Keith's here. So it was like, it was Christmas, man. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks.
Hey, man, you know, timing is everything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it timed out.
Yeah.
I've been going through your resume in my head, and I'm trying to think of the first thing that I saw you in, because you've done so many incredible roles over the years, man. And I think it was The Thing.
The Thing was my first movie.
That explains it.
Yeah.
It's a good call.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
I had prior to The Thing, when they were shooting Roots 2, the second generation.
Yes.
I came out to audition for Alex Haley before James L. Jones became Alex.
Yes.
I didn't get it.
No, yeah.
But they, Reuben Cannon, he liked me. And so he kept me on as one of Professor Haley's students.
That's kind of cool.
You do, so you know, I know I was in the scene because I know what I did.
Oh, right.
But the only thing you see of me in that movie is from the neck to the waist as I wipe the camera.
Oh, no. So not even from the neck up, but from the neck to the way.
No, and you know,
I thought that was you.
It was so funny because all my mother's friends were like, I saw you, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Just and I'm like, no, you didn't. You know,
Not much.
because I don't even think I made it in the wide.
Damn.
Because the way they cut it, I might have been in a wide shot, but I think that they, you know, but it, like I said, I know it was me because when the students were being dismissed, I do get to say like something like "Bye, Professor Haley," but that's like happening in the background as people are sweeping past. So, and I know that was me.
Yeah, that's right.
But you know, listen,
Not a bad debut.
You know what was great about it? It had to be a Friday because first of it they put me in a single banger, so I had my whole trailer to myself, and I was just a guest star for the day.
Okay.
My first job, and that afternoon for lunch was shrimp and lobster and steak.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God! I'm like.
No fast food. Yeah, okay.
I want to do this all the time.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. We could do this again. Oh,
you know,
man.
Now, I could also count on the fingers of one hand how many times that happened again.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I had a similar thing like that.
But, you know, hey, you know, it's so funny because I can't think of his name right this second, but he...
Steven Spielberg.
He was a great actor that I had great admiration for, and he had one leg.
It wasn't Captain Hook.
No, he was. He was on a movie with me, and they were in it. Him and a couple other guys were in a triple banger, and I thought, how does that seems incongruous, but you know, you take the job, you do what you do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it comes with the deal. I mean, you know, if you're fortunate enough, to get the same thing all the time and get that single thing, that's your business. That's your deal. Mm-hmm. But the work is the most important thing. And you know, first of all, how much time you spend in there anyway is minimum. You know?
Yeah, it's all just
so it's not really about that.
It's just really, about the level of respect and such as that.
And you know, I mean. Man, I've seen that. It's like when you go and I'm sure you've had the experience where, actors who you've admired your whole life, and suddenly you're at an audition and they're there. And it's like, what am I doing?
Why am I here?
Because I know if he's up for the gig, I ain't getting this job.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do.
Yeah. Knock on wood. Yeah. Sometimes you do.
Sometimes you do. I mean, I was Norman Rose. I don't know if you remember who he is. Was one of my teachers, and he was. And one of the things he said is, "I'm training you guys to one of these days. I'm going to see you at an audition, and you better be good." And
that's pretty good.
One of the greatest compliments that I ever got in life. I was doing. It was my first real big animated gig, Gargoyles.
Oh yes,
and
Goliath,
and Ed Asner.
Sure,
was
that's
my,
right.
My main guy.
That's
Ed
right.
Asner and Norman Rose were best friends. And I told him that I studied with Norman. And one day he walked up to me and he says, "Norman would be proud of you."
Oh,
I'm like,
that's
like
great.
Nothing. I mean, that's
okay.
Yeah.
Take that to the bank, as they say, right? Yeah. Good old Ed. Yeah, he was an old buddy of mine. He was a cantankerous fella.
Great dude.
Great guy. Yeah. I remember we did. He played Santa Claus, and over the years, well, you sing, so you get it. A lot of times they'll ask me to pinch hit for somebody in their character because, well, he doesn't really sing. He's an incredible actor, crazy actor. He doesn't really sing. Wants to know if you'd sing for him. Oh, well, Ed does? Oh, yeah. Oh, he didn't mention that the other day. But, yeah, sure. Of course, I would love to. Being asked like that. And so I go in the next day and I do Santa song, whatever the Santa, I can't even remember how it went. But he came, like a week or two later, run into Ed. We're going to do some pickups on the session. And he goes, "Well, hello, Santa." And I said, "Hey, how you doing, Ed? What's that?" He goes, "Well, I heard you had a good time singing the other day, Santa." And I said, "Oh, now wait a minute. They told me that you wanted me to do that because you didn't feel good about singing and just get Cummings to do it."
Right.
And so that's why I did it. He goes, "Those bastards told you that? I'll be right back." So someone was losing their head. Because he never said anything like that. Because they let him go through it and they recorded it and he thought he was in.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And that's a little extra.
Well, that's
a rub
how
pull.
they do.
Yeah, that's how they do. But, not with me or you. And I meant that to rhyme. All right. So it's good to have you, man. Yeah, because are people surprised? Because I was. Yeah, I've known of you, your career for eons, but then Prince and the Frog came along, and I was like, this dude's singing his ass off. And those are cool songs. Randy Newman.
Yeah.
Anytime you sing a Randy Newman, I'm in. Please sign me up.
Yeah, we did a thing called Swinging the Mouse. And I got to sing another Randy Newman.
Oh, okay.
I Will Go Sailing No More.
I won't go sailing?
I Will Go Sailing No More from Toy Story.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a great song.
Yeah, I bet.
Great song.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I love singing.
Oh, my God.
Anytime.
Listen, I wish I could get paid singing as much as I get paid acting.
Yeah.
I would do it.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. All
Tonight.
the time.
On the way home.
I had a music manager for a while, and I told him that. I said, if I could sing more, I would stop acting. He said, "Keep your day job."
Yeah, well, he never heard you sing. I get it, but in addition to,
well, it's an equally hard profession to make a living at, and
yeah,
and
yeah,
be prolific. I mean, that is the truth of the matter. I would sing more if I could, but it just happened that as I began my career, I got to do more acting than I got to do singing. And for the first few years, every time I'd line up a good singing job, I'd get a great acting job and have to cancel. I mean, I'm talking about sometimes symphony gigs. I had to cancel a symphony gig.
Wow.
And then to really put a cherry on it, I was doing a series, and it was the last episode that was going to interfere with the date of the gig. And at first I was like, well,
the last episode had to be the last one.
Yeah, I said to my episode, do you think I can get them to write me out? He said, well, you're starring in the thing. You don't want to be, is that smart to be asked to be written out? Yeah. So that wasn't a great idea.
No.
So I said, okay. So, and it was a couple of months in advance, but symphonies book a year in advance.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think they ever forgave me for it because I never got offered that again. And but to add insult to injury or the cherry on top of it, however you want to look at it, they canceled my show after 10 episodes, so then I was free.
Perfect. So the universe was just in there. Here, take that. Here you go.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Thanks.
What are you gonna do? No complaints and no regrets.
Yeah. That's right.
You just life
That's
goes
right.
on.
Yes, it does.
So I mean, it's all good.
Yes, indeed. Good. Yeah. Well, I know all about Life Goes On. Ray got his own star.
Man.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I'm a big fan.
You know what I love about that? Right before my grandmother died, I got her a star in her name at the Star Registry. Oh. And I don't remember how that came to
I did one of those.
How it came to me to do that.
Oh, that's funny.
But by the time, Princess came out, I was like, wow.
Yeah. I did that in my dad's name before a long time, many moons ago. Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't recently, was it? That was a while ago. That
was 2000.
Yeah.
25 years.
I was going to say like 20-something, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I must have been going around. I did that too. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I wonder if they know each other. It could be.
Could be.
So was singing your first passion? Is that what you
absolutely
really going after?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You were in a band?
I went to the High School of Performing Arts.
Okay.
Mm.
And
where, in New York?
In New York.
New York, yeah.
And the sister school was Music and Art. And my grandmother lived on 141st Street. Music and Art was 135th Street. Mm-hmm. And I was 2 years in PA studying acting downtown on 46th Street before my aunt, and my grandmother, my father's mother, realized, this boy is going to school for acting?
What the hell is he doing that for?
So.
But what are you going to do for a living?
Well, that was
right. That was the question.
That was the big thing. I remember.
Right.
We called her Nana. That was she was another one of my favorite people and
of course
great supporter of me. At first, after I graduated from high school, I got accepted at Purchase,
which is
the SUNY at Purchase to be an actor in New York, and I was all excited, and I came to announce with my family, and she said, "Acting? You better study science and be a doctor and do that acting thing on the side."
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we've all had that advice.
There was, they were kind of upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember my dad. I was telling him, here's what I'm going to do, and he goes, "Wait, what?" And I said, well, like Mel Blanc does all these character voices. Yeah. Well, I want to be like him. Okay, but what are you going to do for a living? And that was because he was very practical, steel mill town, okay, that's fine. Do they have a union for that? Yeah, they do actually, believe it or not. It's a pretty good one. All right. well, how are you gonna eat again? You know, and I go, well, this job perhaps will lead to another one, and then I'll get one after that.
Yeah.
And then I start stacking years up, maybe decades. And, I'll do something. If I have to go back to selling pots and pans, then I'll do that. But for the time being, until they say no and stay home, I'm gonna work this sucker, and it, knock on wood, wherever that wood. Okay, I can't find any wood. But so far, so good. And now I get to hang out with you.
Hey, man.
So so that ain't bad.
Blessed and highly favored. I mean,
Yeah.
on and this is how I like to think of it.
Yeah.
What we do for a living, this job, is we get to bring a little joy into somebody's life every day, every opportunity we have to work.
Mm-hmm.
That's
right.
Ultimately what we get to do.
Amen.
So on my worst day, I'm still living my dream. This is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I dreamt of it when I was a child.
Yeah.
Of being an actor, making my living as an actor.
Yeah.
When and just keep you do it until the wheels fall off.
And you were a child when can you remember when you first said, you know what? I was in that.
I was in the second grade, man.
Yeah.
And I remember
Yeah.
we had a talent contest.
Oh, here we go.
Now, I never experienced stage fright.
Uh-huh.
Crippling stage fright. But I watched one of the kids before me. I mean, crippling stage fright.
Ooh.
Just got out there, froze, and
Ooh.
Had to be taken off stage.
That's tough to look
and
at.
I even as a kid, I'm like, I never experienced that. Now I remember 2 talent shows we had, and the first one, I was really good. I had this girl sitting on my lap, and I was doing a ventriloquist act.
Oh, that's great.
So I said, Harriet, say hello to the people. Hello, people.
Yeah.
And suddenly,
And were you subtly moving your lips a little bit?
trying to do like that,
Yeah.
And subtly. Now, when you talk about, getting hot and your temperature changing, suddenly she's sitting on my lap, and I can feel the heat. I could feel heat suddenly begin to emanate from where she was sitting on my lap.
Was this moist heat?
I thought it was. And I was so afraid of that. I said, "Okay, that's it. And I ended the act.
Yeah.
And I look, I'm like,
okay.
But man, it scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah, it did.
It really did.
Oh man.
And then the next time,
And she was just nervous, right?
she was just nervous.
Yeah.
And the next time we had a contest, I feigned the stage fright, and I remember, just imitating the kid.
That's funny.
It. And I just stood out there and I looked, and I saw the sea of people, and I just went. Like I can't move, and I just want to see what it felt like. To be escorted off the stage for that. And then I was like, singing is better.
Yeah. Come on, my baby. Come on, my honey.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Remember that frog?
That frog.
The
frog. Michigan J Frog. Michigan J Frog. Top hat.
Yeah.
Cane. Can't go wrong. Oh man. That's good stuff. So that I can't believe that I nailed it. The thing was the first one.
Yeah.
Because it feels like that you've been around forever, but it wasn't exactly.
That was 40 years ago.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Shit, we're getting old.
I'm telling you. But you know something? If you live long enough, that happens.
Yeah. I'd rather have a shit ton of birthdays and just one funeral.
Yeah.
Because then it's over. You don't have to worry about any more birthdays.
Right.
So, well, knock on wood. We'll take it, right?
Yeah, every day.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're dying to talk about or that you can't? Or because usually sometimes you have to sign those non-disclosures.
Well, I think
you're going to be invited to narrate the second coming of the Lord, but you're not allowed to tell anybody.
Right.
Oh, yeah, well, why would I want to tell people about that? That's always something really good. I don't know.
Well, next time, I can't.
Yeah.
I do have one of those that I can't talk
I knew
about
it.
right this minute, but something just dropped that it's going to be pretty wonderful.
Okay.
It's going to be pretty wonderful.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, check it out. Stay alert. But that's another one of those God shots. It's another gift. If you don't get discouraged by the stuff around the work, eventually you'll get to work.
That's a good way to put it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's called show business. It ain't called show. And the business of show can be daunting. It can be brutal. It can be ugly. It can be a whole lot of things that really have nothing to do with the work itself. The work itself is usually pretty good.
That's the fun part. Yeah,
that's really the fun part. But you can't have that much fun if you don't take care of business. Because I've been in those circumstances where people you expect people to be straight up and up on the up and up, and they make you a promise or give you word about something, and then just a loose example. I had a contract that needed an amendment, and so SAG has that rule. If you can't really get paid until you sign the contract. In those days, it was very enforceable. So my first day of work was coming. I was like, "Are you going to fix the contract?" He said, "No, don't worry about it. We're going to." And then finally, it got to, "Listen, just sign the contract. You'll get paid, and I'll fix it. Later on."
Fix it.
So when I got the contract back, it wasn't fixed, and I said, "You promised me that you were going to put that clause back in the contract so that I'm going to be able to participate." Blah blah blah. He goes, "You signed the contract."
Oh,
in my face.
Damn.
And I'm like,
he said it.
Wow.
So that's it, huh?
Wow.
Yeah, that's dirty.
Well,
so man to man, it didn't mean a thing.
Man, it didn't mean shit.
Yeah.
And I was like,
whew. So that's you, huh?
Okay.
Wow.
I've never seen him again. I don't know what he's doing. He's probably functioning in his own world. But it's
parking cars.
It's a handshake. I would not. And I don't really hold grudges. I try.
But you don't forget.
But I don't forget him. It's like you're not trustworthy.
Yeah.
There are words for it. I won't use those kinds of words here. But why do I even want to talk to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was before I came in here, I was just thinking about, because of things like that, how it behooves you not to forget, but to be forgiving, mostly of myself for being naive, and the other person for, listen, I have no responsibility for who you are, only the way I take you, and what I do with it.
That's right.
So. I like I said, I'd have a problem shaking his hand, but it wouldn't stop me from saying hello, and walking away.
Yeah.
Because I have nothing else to say to you, but hello. But my mama taught me when I walk into a room and I'm not the first one in the room, you say hello. So hello.
That's right.
But
That's right.
I don't have to engage with you.
And by the way, goodbye.
You're right.
while we're on the subject,
Right.
Abyssinia. Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, man. Oh. So which do you get a bigger kick out of? Playing the bad guy or playing the good guy? Because I've often wondered, some people like Lee Van Cleef, he can't answer that because he's never been a good guy.
Right.
But you have.
I get a kick out of working.
Yeah. Just period.
That's
a good answer.
Because even the baddest guy, and I'm working a movie now. Again, I can't disclose, but
good guy or bad guy?
I'm a ruthless.
Okay.
Ruthless.
All right.
But
set your clocks.
I don't think I think he's got a sense of humor.
Yeah. Those are the best.
Because there's one speech I have when I said, when I'm like, I know what you did, and I'm going to get you. Don't worry, I'm going to get you. I know why you think you're getting away with it. I'm going to get you.
Oh,
it's really
nice. That's tasty.
It's very tasty.
It's very tasty to have that position, that power position.
But the thing I loved about like Sopranos, you could be the baddest cat in town. You don't talk to your mama like that. You don't talk to your wife like that. Not if you're gonna keep her around.
That's
right. So you gotta every bad guy has a mama.
Oh yeah.
And somewhere finds humor in something. And every funny guy has a moment of
villainy.
Well, or at least a moment of right here, right now reality, which is not always so funny. It doesn't have to be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's not. So,
but it will. But it will highlight when it is, and when it's not, and contrastingly. You know what I mean? So, finding those moments are a good
Hollywood calling.
Yeah.
I like you have Mufasa on the back of that.
Yeah.
Which brings us to another movie. No.
What was your first voice acting role? When did acting transition into voice acting for you?
Well, for a long time when I was growing up, Marlon Perkins was his name.
Oh yeah. Mutual of Omaha.
Mutual of Omaha.
Yeah. Here we see the walrus.
Right.
Yeah.
I used to love that stuff.
Yeah.
Lauren Green was one of my favorite narrators. Lauren Green, William Forsythe, Bill Conrad, Percy Rodriguez. These guys, I just, you listen to them do a narration and it's like, wow, I want to know more about that.
Yeah.
It's just, there was something.
Percy was very engaging. He had a warmth.
A warmth.
Yeah.
That just, it was like storytelling. It's like, you remember when commercials went from just the announcer guy and here, buy Tide, and it's your next wash will be very clean. And then it went to, suddenly it was Burgess Meredith. If you want your clothes clean, go buy Tide. And your clothes will be white too. And it became more actor oriented and
that's true. Yeah,
storytelling.
that's right. And
I remember that distinction really clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's kind of when I started. They were transitioning.
Yeah, and when I first started, if you were a TV actor, you were a TV actor.
That's right.
They didn't do a lot of movies. There weren't a whole lot of TV actors who did movies.
If
you were a commercial
big
actor,
distinction. Yeah.
If you did commercials, you did commercial. Well, that was a little bit different because a lot of stage actors did commercials, but movie actors didn't do commercials. And it was right around that transition. Then suddenly, actors are doing commercials, voiceover commercials. And then suddenly, on-camera commercials. So it began, and back in the 80s, that was pretty hip.
Yeah. And I remember when the distinction was that if you were ever in a big TV show, you're never going to be in a big movie.
Right.
And if you were ever in a big movie, you cannot condescend to go and do Bonanza or some TV show. Couldn't do it. And that's gone away.
Not true anymore. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and thank God, because...
Yeah, acting is acting. Yeah. I mean, Shatner was in a couple Twilight Zones. I think Robert Redford was in...
Redford was in one, too. Yeah.
I think it was a Twilight Zone, wasn't it? Yeah. So,
And they used to do... they don't even show it anymore. Something theater, 54.
Oh, Theater 54.
54, 52 or something like that.
Yeah.
On those kinescopes. And
back, yes.
They were live TV broadcasts. Because they did, I think it was Nancy Marchand. I think it was Nancy Marchand and, his name just went out of my head, who Rod Steiger, who did a TV version of Marty.
Oh.
Ernest Borgnine.
Oh, Ernest Borgnine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marty, I remember that.
Yeah. I'm almost sure that it was Rod Steiger who did it.
Yeah.
TV.
Well, everybody is all over the map now.
Yeah.
So,
And that's
cool.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, people get famous on YouTube. How to,
That's another.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
It's like, no, you're not allowed to be.
Well, because and therein lies the difference between they do have celebrity,
Oh yeah,
but
That's right.
But they're not actors and they're not artists, except when
Thank
you
you.
are, except if you are,
Except if you are, that's fair.
And there are some of them who are, and that's especially younger,
and most of them
generation
who are not.
guys, but most of them who are not.
Yeah,
And and again, the business of show, you'll see people getting jobs from actors because they have
followers.
a million followers.
Yeah, I remember at an audition. It's got to be 20-some years ago, but this guy walks out and he goes, "Does anybody have followers? Do you have a following?" And no, I don't think so. Some people who like me, but does that count? And he goes, "No, I mean they're asking like if you have an Instagram, if you have a TikTok or what was it back then? X was something else, Facebook or MySpace, all that.
MySpace.
I mean, it was all this old shit." I was like, "No, I don't care about that," and blah blah blah. They go, "Wow." Well, they said, my agent just verified that they were going to be asking me this, and they did, and I don't think I'm getting the job because I had to go, "I don't really have any." "Oh, so you don't have any blah blah internet presence?" And no. "Okay, well, thanks for coming. And it was real subtle, but it was also there. You ain't getting this gig. You got to bring your audience with you."
Yeah. Well, I mean, and now we get to play the game.
Yeah.
You got to know how to participate. I mean,
Well, Brandon Rogers has been hotel on with co-star with you. He came from YouTube, correct? Yeah, he was doing his social media thing, and that's he was on the show not too long ago, and he was telling us that's how he got the opportunity even to be looked at for that.
That's what I'm saying is like it's a new kind of marketing. We used to have to like advertise in show business or backstage.
Right.
Put an article out.
That's right.
You could advertise yourself that way.
Variety.
Nowadays, I mean, if you know how to navigate the internet and use it to your advantage like that, well, more power to you. I mean, the thing that I was talking about was, bringing up are the people who absolutely really don't have much talent except to,
except in marketing what they have.
I don't know. I mean, and I'm not belittling anybody's.
No.
Way of doing you. You do you. I'm just saying that it ain't the same as somebody who is, doing the work. And
that's right.
Because the thing about America's Got Talent. And, there's a lot of them that have great talent.
Yeah, they do.
But most of them have been doing this most of their lives. I think it's a misnomer to say that you can sleep on the cement for 18 hours, get an audition, and become a star. That don't happen.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Even back in the old days in Hollywood, when it was Schwab's drugstore,
right, yeah.
and many directors came in, "Hey, you, come here."
Wasn't Lana Turner discovered there, somebody like that?
And I think certainly that can happen. Exception, not rule.
Boy, that's for sure.
And I heard that, just going back to Has Been Hotel, I heard that you were offered that show, and then you said, the only way I'm going to be a part of it is if I get to sing. Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, because I heard they had some singing in it, so I'm like, if I get to sing on something,
Yeah.
And then I really I love the writing.
Yeah.
And the music is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really clever.
It's like doing an animated Broadway show. I mean, that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
I just have such a great time doing it, and it's smart. It's so smart.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah.
Okay, now I want on.
Oh yeah.
Can you get me a gig on that show? I'm ready. I'm ready. That's great. That's good stuff. Yeah, well, there's not a lot of super fresh things happening out there.
Well,
not in animation anyway.
It's so funny again. One company does something, and then you get all these copycats.
Oh, absolutely.
Sometimes it ain't bad. Sometimes but you look at, I don't know if you've ever wanted to do a project and, you can't get arrested. You can't get anybody to even engage the idea. And then you see something and you go, and opinions, how they are, but, I know my idea was better than that.
Yes.
How did that happen?
Yeah.
But, again, I cannot, I do not want to begrudge anybody their opportunity.
Right. Right.
So, and it is no small feat getting anything done. Animated, motion
Period,
picture, TV. If you got the wherewithal to get it done, hey, my hat's off to you. Because it is not easy. And especially as the business paradigm continues to shift. The folk who can navigate that and keep that.
Yeah, it's a weird world out there now.
Oh,
it's much different than ever before. Nothing's quite the same as it used to be.
And on some, in some instances, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It was necessary to change.
Yeah, if it's progress.
If it's progress. Now we're facing change again. So it's like you just got to be ready to go with the flow. When I grow up, I want to be a bamboo, not an oak tree.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Do you have a preference to doing voiceover or on-camera work?
No, I like working.
Yeah.
Good job is a good job.
Yeah. Is there one you enjoy more?
The thing about going into the booth, I do get up and brush my teeth every day. But if I didn't want to, I don't. I get in that booth, I'm by myself. Sometimes you don't even have to make any contact. During the pandemic, we had, you don't even come in the same entrance as other people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That was crazy.
Of different, I'm sure it cost the studios a lot of money buying earphones and, mic covers and all that kind of stuff. But life went on.
Right.
I know it was very difficult for a lot of folk. And, and I still, say my prayers for these, for those people who are struggling and continue to struggle. I chose deliberately, and I was extremely fortunate. I have a fantastic wife and a wonderful family who was very supportive, and we like each other. So the fact that we had to be
hunker
down
and
be together. Okay. And the moments as will happen when you get a little. Don't you have something to do?
Yeah.
Why don't you do it in there? We have a big enough house that we can go. Okay, I'm going in mine.
Yeah.
I'll be in there.
I'll be in my wing.
But also I just I took it as a unscheduled spiritual retreat.
There you go. That glass is definitely half full.
Listen, it's like complaining about it and bitching and moaning about it. What was that going to change?
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
The people walking through the airport with the mask half down and angry, if looking at you askance if you say, can you, or social distancing. I was glad to stand away from people. Get back. Why do you want to be that close? I don't know you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Why do you want to be so close to me? What's the matter with you?
Yeah. I didn't see you at any family reunions.
My mama wouldn't stand that close to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get back.
Yeah.
My wife got, a little miffed with me because I said, I'm going to get a jacket made. Stand back. I might have COVID.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or maybe even nice big fat ass buttons.
Right. You know what I mean?
I got my COVID. Would you like it too?
Right.
You know. But don't worry, I share. I chew.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's, I mean,
Yeah.
the first time I was on a plane, post COVID, and there's a guy across the aisle from me. And I'm like,
Perfect. Oh, that's
no
good.
mask. And I'm like,
Yeah, and he's doing it onto his hand, and then, you know,
Sharing the armrest.
putting it here, and not even like doing the Dracula.
yeah.
You know, which they tell you to.
The Dracula.
I can't. You're good.
That's funny.
That's what they called it. Yes, absolutely.
That is funny. What was the most challenging point in either your life or your career?
Sometimes they were inseparable. You know, because my career revolved.
They orbit around each other.
My life, and my life revolved around my. You know, there are many occasions, family, reunions or gatherings that I missed because I had to go to work. And then there comes a shift in the action when my life is my work, but now I have to pick and choose differently because jeopardizing my family dynamic. This job is not worth it. It's just a job. I mean, even if it's $1 million, it's like, but what is that $1 million going to cost me after taxes and commissions? Then do I spend that time at the shrink, or some other kind of therapy because I'm not well, and long before it became a pandemic issue, my spiritual fitness and my mental well-being was far too important to me to not pay attention. So there were times when my wife said, "No, you can't take that job. It's too long." And I want, there were a few times when I'm like, "I want that job."
You got to be kidding me. Yeah.
But okay. And then once you make the decision, then you forget about it. Now, did it take me years to learn how to do that, to let it go? The job you didn't get. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Is there one on your mind right now that you're thinking of that you really wanted and just didn't pan out?
Oh, God. If I went down that rabbit hole, there are several. But when I think about my blessings and the God shots that I have had, that mostly center around the jobs I got.
Of course.
Mostly. But now I deeply appreciate the jobs I didn't get because I don't know what God was sparing me from. And the things that I got to do in its stead sometimes were pretty wonderful. They weren't the same. Sometimes it wasn't the same money.
Couldn't have been.
The same, but it was more than comparable in the respect that I was able to maintain my own self-respect. I got to eat. I got to feed my family.
Always a good sign.
Kept a roof over my head.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I say no complaints and no regrets, I mean it from the soles of my feet.
That's awesome.
That's good.
At the end of the
Doesn't do you any good
day,
anyway.
What is it going to do?
That's right. That's exactly
it's
right.
It's like anybody who complains about old age, consider the alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a whole mess of birthdays than one stinking funeral. I've said that a million times.
It's like, dude, and the quality of your old age is going to be characterized by what you did yesterday. So
and what you're doing tomorrow.
And what and what you're doing today. I try not to, I try to narrow down and minimize those sort of Scroogian things that will come back to haunt me.
Well, I've always said that the biggest regrets are the things that you didn't do. You know, you know what? I really should have.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the things you don't do, those are the big regrets.
Yeah.
For me, you know, it's always seemed that way. But so you gotta, you know, and I tell people if you really, because you know you do these conventions and kids will ask you, well, how did you know? How did you blah blah blah? And for me, it's like I say, you only regret the things you don't do, and if you have a dream of it. Now I found out later that this was some kind of a positive attitude thing that's like acceptable to Ram Dass and all these gurus and everybody. But if you just imagine yourself doing it already. Imagine what it would be like getting up and going to work and going to a studio and singing a song or doing a cartoon character and everything. And if you can see it, if you can imagine it, then you probably can pull it off.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you could probably pull it off. And I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. I used to work in a steel mill, you know, and then I moved to New Orleans. I worked on a riverboat, but I still knew, but I wasn't a steel mill worker. I was a guy who worked in a steel mill.
There you go.
You know, so
who are you going to be?
Yeah, and that there's nothing wrong with the guys in the steel mill.
Listen,
God bless them.
And there are a whole bunch of guys, and I have nothing against them. That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
You want to do that? You it's a steady paycheck. You make your money.
Union,
take care
hospitalization.
Of your family. You know, I mean, that's a wonderful thing because there's a bunch of guys who don't want to accept that kind of responsibility.
Yeah.
And who don't. You know, I mean, you know, they didn't call them deadbeats for nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But not everybody is a deadbeat, you know, who doesn't have the same ambition as you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I knew a buddy of mine 100 years ago. He said, well, I went down, I was auditioning, applying for this job, and I got it. You know what they want to pay? $7. And I go, oh, well, that's not too bad. A long time ago. And he goes, I ain't working for $7. I said, well, then you ain't working. You're also not working. You're also not eating. Okay, so $7 an hour wasn't enough for you. Okay, so what are you going to do now? Tap dance? You know, go on to Jackson Square and, you know, good luck. Oh, man. What? And give up showbiz?
What?
Right? Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, I feel you. I mean, I understand that. I mean, the idea of it sounds more insulting than getting kicked out of your apartment. You know.
Yeah, that's a little harsh.
But you know, I mean, and not to get too far afield in this area, but it's also, you know, why we are in the climate we're in today, because you know, as much wealth as that exists in this country, just this country alone, I mean, a man shouldn't have to work for subpar wages. A woman, man, woman, child, should not have to work for subpar wages, so that you know, you know, can enjoy it, you know, some dessert with your meal. Go to the movies every once in a while.
Yeah.
Take out your friend if you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really that's not a lot to ask. It really is not a lot to ask, especially while you know the robber barons are making money hand over fist, and you know, I mean, no, we don't let them eat cake.
Yeah,
let them have a meal and then some cake for dessert.
Yeah. Well, I remember, I think it was James Brown. I don't want nobody to give me nothing. You just open up the door and I'll get it myself.
Yeah.
You know, that's all you need. That's all. Do I have a shot at doing this? Yes. Here's your shot. Okay. That's all. You know, I'll take it. You know, if you've got a shot at what you want to do, I mean, I think that we're still like probably the only country in the world that you can actually do that. You know, be poor as hell as a church mouse and then grow up and be a judge. You know, knock on wood. Not that I want to be a judge, but anyway. Yeah, no kidding.
I'm fine with being a judge.
Yeah, that's right. But that's his last name, so he's cheating. He's cheating. He's cheating a bit. Yeah.
That's funny.
Hell's bells.
Should we do some voice swaps? You want to do a little voice swap game?
Yes, it's pretty ridiculously fun, and it's basically I'll do one of my characters, and like Tigger or Winnie the Pooh, Darkwing Duck, and then you pick one of your impressions, one of your guys, and you repeat it in his voice, and then you give me an expression of yours in character. And then I have to do it as Winnie the Pooh or Darkwing Duck or Tasmanian Devil, one of my guys. So.
What do you say? Are you game?
Why not?
Okay.
Let's play.
Let's see. I was going to do a Facilier line, but that would, you're in my world now, not your world. But I can't sing it as well as you. So I won't be doing that. We can edit that out, right? Good. Let's see. Okay. I guess we could do a Princess and the Frog groove, I think.
Yeah. My sweet Evangeline.
Yeah. Well, okay, here we go. Here's Ray. Well, you know something? The women love a man with a big back porch.
Now I have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you do it as Facilier then?
Yes.
A tip of the hat from Dr. Facilier. You know, a woman loves a man with a big back porch.
Yes. How can you make that sound sort of evil? It was kind of evil. I didn't want to go sit on the back porch now. I'm staying here. Oh, wow. Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
I have a request for you. I love Rick and Morty. Can you do the president?
I'm the president of the goddamn United States of America.
I believe you. Okay, so who should that be? How about Darkwing?
How about Robotnik?
Oh, I'm the president of the goddamn United States of America. Get that hedgehog. There you go. Nice, calm, laid back way to segue into the sunset.
Before we do another one, I just have to ask you for personal curiosity. How did you get mixed up with Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon and the whole Rick and Morty crew?
Community.
Yeah. Of course.
I did Community, and then Dan asked me to come in, and my first character on the show was Reverse Giraffe.
Reverse Giraffe.
Reverse Giraffe?
Yeah.
He's got short legs and a long neck.
Oh, wow. Okay. Reverse Giraffe. Okay.
Funny little character.
Yeah. I don't want to adopt one of those.
Community was a good show, too. It was a good show.
I had a ball.
Yeah.
I had a ball. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, those guys are clever.
Yeah. That's and that's the kind of comedy that I really like. It's like, this is really smart stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's fun, but it's really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps.
You got to think about that,
Yeah, I like that too. That's the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
If it works on two levels.
Nothing like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Boy, ain't that the truth.
All right, sorry,
Good
I
stuff.
had to interrupt there. Let's do one more. Let's do one more back and forth.
Okay. Maybe Darkwing Duck.
Good old Darkwing.
Yeah.
I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am Darkwing Duck.
As Goliath.
Goliath would be good.
I am the terror that flaps in the night. I am Darkwing Duck.
It's pretty good because, you know what? Goliath actually does flap in the night.
Yes.
Now that you think about it.
Your voice is so incredible to me. Like you can change the whole atmosphere of a room just with your voice.
Yes. It's true. It's true.
I'm sure you know that, obviously, but it's such an incredible talent.
And it's interesting because you can go from commanding the room and attracting the room to you with bombast, and then cementing them in so they can't wait for the next word you whisper. That's tasty. That's when you have everybody right there. Right there. That's what that is.
Yes, indeed.
That's good stuff. Oh man, thank you so much for being here, man.
Oh man, I had a blow.
Wait, no, I have
Yeah.
to ask.
Sweet.
I have
Here
to
we
ask
go.
one more. I have to ask one more. I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm sorry, Keith. I love you, man.
No worries.
So the first time I ever saw you in anything, I'm aging myself here, I guess the opposite way, but there's something about Mary. And I thought you were just hilarious, the stern dad. And I just want to know what it was like working with Cameron Diaz and Ben Stiller.
I mean, it's so funny you asked that because for some reason I was talking to somebody who lived in Miami the time that we were shooting. And so, it's got just reliving that whole period. It was such fun. Mm-hmm. It was such a good time. I mean, that set was, if you remember the famous, zipper shot.
Yes.
And what I like about the opportunity to play comedy and improvise. I had an aunt, and one of her favorite catchphrases was, "Oh, for God in heaven's sake." You know, and for some reason, every time she said that,
Oh, for God in heaven's sake.
So I got to use it in that scene.
Yeah.
When he first sees me, he's like, "Oh, for God in heaven's sake."
Oh, that's great. That's great. Oh, wow. That's great.
I love that so much.
So I mean, it was a wonderful time. Some of the outtakes, like I came to the door, what do you want? And Ben's got the teeth, and he said, and I'm like, oh shit, I can't look.
Man,
Oh, for God in heaven's sake. Will you floss?
that reaction and then your face when you said, "How'd you get the beans above the Frank?" I'll never forget that face. That like burned into my memory when I first saw that. I just thought it was the funniest thing ever.
If you ever remember getting caught, that's burned in my memory. I mean, if any man above 7 years old knows what that's like.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're talking about no fun at all.
I mean, I don't know about that degree, but
no. Well, I mean, that's
how'd you get
extreme.
the zipper to the top?
That's a bit extreme, but
Yeah.
I do. Between your neck and your jackets.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
And your testes when you got I don't even want to move. How do you maneuver this, because going up is not going to work and going down is going to hurt.
There's no easy.
There's no escaping this.
Yeah.
Blood will be shed.
Yeah. Pass the butter.
You're in battle.
Just for good measure. Yeah. Just let's grease things up.
Yeah.
Oh God, you guys are taking notes on this. I hope. Just in case, you want to be prepared, like a Boy Scout.
Like Scar.
That's right. Be prepared. Yeah, my Lion King buddy.
Yeah.
So singing and I mean it's so great, because I always like it when the character sings, and that apparently
I mean, that's
what's
like
up.
icing on the cake, man.
Yeah.
That is icing on the cake. I love that.
Yeah. And
especially when you get to find, the voice of that character.
Mm-hmm.
That's
yeah, and singing takes it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. I've always loved that aspect of musicals, when the situation becomes so heightened suddenly. I can't talk about this anymore. I have to sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Are you a thespian? Do you go to a lot of plays?
Oh, as much as possible.
Yeah.
In fact, I wanted to go tonight, but it's not playing tonight.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen Book of Mormon?
Oh, yeah.
You like that play?
That is a funny play.
I think that's one of the funniest plays I've ever seen.
That play.
It is
Spam-A-Lot.
Yeah.
It's a funny play.
Spam-A-Lot. That's another one.
Yeah.
Were you a big Python fan of that absurd English humor?
Sort of after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
I had friends when we were growing up who loved it.
Yeah.
And I found it, it was
British humor's British humor.
it's British humor.
Yeah.
I mean, I had more fun with what was his name that came on?
Michael Palin? Or
No, he used to dress up. He had a drag character that he dressed up on. But he was really he played multiple characters.
not Madam. Oh gosh, British.
British guy.
Yeah, and he was. Yes.
Madam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, I can't
was
think
his
of her name.
He was just on the tip of my tongue. And he stayed on. It was on for a long time.
Yeah. I think it started on PBS. Maybe. I think. Oh, hello, possums.
Yes.
The little possums. It's me. I think that's
That's
what
him.
That's
That's
the
him.
one. Oh,
What was his
God.
name?
Oh God. Everybody's watching this. They're going, it's,
Yeah.
and I couldn't pull it out. Oh man.
Wow.
I have something else to ask you. I'm sorry. I'm just these questions are
That's
coming
good.
to me. So you're from an era. My dad is around your age, and he's also a black man. And there was kind of like, as far as he describes it, like almost like two lanes for black actors. And he says that in LA at the time in the 80s, there was like a black casting director. It was like you go to them and they cast you for whatever. It was kind of, you got funneled into that lane. and
Reuben
then
Cannon was
spread out. It seems like in your career, you've kind of like never really been put into that like blockbuster pool or anything like that. Were you aware of that when it was happening?
Yeah, of course. There was a casting director in New York, whose name I won't mention, but and she said one time, "Oh, Keith David, he can't sound black," and I'm like,
What?
you know,
What's that mean? Even?
what does that mean? What does that even mean? So you let them suffer their own delusions until one day they get smacked into reality by reality. They're like today that kind of statement would cancel you. And rightly so, because it's stinking thinking. It's like what kind of and listen, nobody will arrest you for what you think, but you shouldn't say everything you think.
Yeah. No.
And to have no idea that might be insulting in some way.
Yeah.
But there's
That's pretty tone deaf.
The truth of the matter is, when I first started, I got a lot of the crossover work where you didn't have to be black. It didn't really matter.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
If it was or not, and more so than today, there was certainly an idea of what they thought black people sounded like, and they would get those voices that would do that. Nowadays it's very it's very difficult to discern always. Well, that's a black man. That's a black woman. That's a regional. Even in regionalism, because if you hear some of the Brits, when they start being talking Cockney or whatever, you don't know who. It could be anybody.
It could be anybody.
And just get the best person for the job. But I say that, but that's not always the most immediate reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
But the thing, I just don't be discouraged by anything or anyone.
And that's how you approached that whole situation.
I mean, it's like I'm not letting your opinion of me stop
Me.
what I'm trying to do.
Right. That's right.
I mean, if I don't get this job, I'll get another one.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
And you got to stay in it. I mean, the race is not for the swift, but for those who can endure. And I don't mean to sound cliche, but that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
And because you see sprinters all the time, and depending on their work ethic and attitude, how long they stay in the race.
Yeah.
Because you see
They burned out.
You'll see a wonderful performance, and you think, oh, there's some nice potential there. What happened to them?
Right.
Boom.
Either they didn't have a work ethic, or they began to emulate the ethic of someone that they were around, and that's not what you should have been paying attention to.
Yeah.
Not that behavior.
Like you mean as far as like a bad influence or
Well, I mean, again, it's my opinion would be my opinion about what's decent and work-related behavior. But professionalism, technically, if you get paid, you can be called a professional. But professionalism is an attitude. It's the manner in which you approach your work.
Absolutely.
That's what's to be emulated. Look how they, look how they approach the work.
Yeah.
The workspace is sacred.
Who would you say is one of the hardest working people you've met? Is there anybody that stands out?
I got a good buddy, Ruben Santiago Hudson. He's one of the hardest working people I've ever met.
Yeah.
He does a whole bunch of stuff. He's a wonderful, wonderful director, great actor, great writer. But what I admire most about him is his work ethic.
Yes.
He is about the work, and he has an integrity that is admirable. And unwavering, and I love that about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Easy to admire.
Othello has that great line: "Thou hast such a noble sense of thy friend's wrong, thou teachest me, or thou instructest me," something like that. And that's when I think about him, that's what I think about.
Yeah. What about you, Jim? Same question for you. Somebody who stands out for their work ethic that you've either worked with or known in your life.
Yeah. Well, good old Corey Burton. He's a Disney voice guy. He's Grumpy in the Seven Dwarfs, and he's Chip in Chip and Dale, and Zipper in Chip and Dale. And I've worked with him tons of times on Goof Troop, and he's a real historian. He's a Disney voice historian. He knows everybody who did every ancillary character, and he's got the microphone that they used. Now, this one is the one that Paul Frees used when he was recording for the Beware of Hitchhiking Strangers in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Right.
And he knows all about that. And it's got that warm tape feeling. And I go, okay. And I get a kick out of that. I admire that. That's he treats it like an art form, like art. And because it is, it's just fun art. And I always, my joke is it's stuff used to get me kicked out of class, so I did better in the hall, than in it. So, but yeah, Corey comes to mind. He's got it going on. Have to get him on here one of these days. But but he's no Keith David. I'll tell you what. But that's all right.
Paul Frees, I love his voice.
Yeah, remember him?
Yeah. You know who was the voice I used to love too was Alfred Drake. That guy could sing.
I can't think of him.
God. Well, when you get a chance, Google him singing "So in Love."
Oh, as we stroll.
No. Strange dear, but true dear, when I'm close to you, dear. I mean,
oh, there you go. Now, who was back in the day, like from the 40s and the 50s? Who were some of your favorite singers or bands or music?
Billy Eckstine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Nat Cole
Very stylized.
Nat Cole was a great favorite of mine. But in fact, this I can talk about. I'm working on a show about Joe Williams, and Joe was a great hero of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I working on this show especially, I have come to love Joe Williams.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was a classy guy.
He was a classy guy. And you talk about a work ethic. He talks about, one of the things that he learned working with the Basie Band. With these were men who cared about their work and strove every night, to get the music right. They were treated like artists, and so they acted like artists. Striving for excellence and perfection each and every night. Like they played every night like they were playing Carnegie Hall.
That's the key. That is the key.
And Joe talks about that the show he would give for his audiences. Sometimes be a overcrowded audience. And sometimes he'd play a club, and because of the weather, there'd be 3 or 4 people, and he gave the same show.
Got to be the same show. That's right.
They got the same show as if it was a.
Yeah, well, that's like a tenet. That's a show business. Yeah, got to be.
I remember doing a thing in school, and we were doing a dance program. Anna Sokolow was the teacher, and we had done all this great avant-garde choreography to Edgar Allan Poe.
Of course.
She said, we're going to do this show whether there's 2 people or 70 people who are in this audience. And we're going to start on time. So if you miss the beginning, you miss the beginning. And that first show, we're scanty. It was a scanty crowd, but we treated it like a dress rehearsal, in front of people. And you just get something out of it, I mean, and when I'm teaching my students, I always say, don't work in a vacuum. Don't just do it just to be doing it by rote. Always have something in your mind, because believe me, one can hear when you don't have a thought in your head. All you are doing is regurgitating a line.
Yep.
I could have read it for what I got from you.
Yeah.
Well, that's some sage advice right there.
A point of view, even if it's wrong, you learn something. You'll learn, well, that wasn't the rightest approach.
Now you know what not to do.
Now you know what not to do. But if you don't do something,
make
a choice.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
I mean, it's...
Yeah.
And listen, you don't always, spend hours of time thinking about every line, but you should spend some time with it.
Yeah.
That you should have some idea. Don't come to the table.
Yeah.
With nothing.
Yeah.
That's a sin.
It sure is. And one of my problems that I've always had, I used to be in plays all the time. I mean, even as a kid, but I don't know what it is. I don't have a good memory. And I mean, not just like recently. I mean, like when I was 10, So what accidentally kind of happened is I ended up being a pretty good ad-libber because I would keep it, because I knew it was something about going out there and slopping the hogs and doing something over there. And then there were cows involved. I remember there was in a show called Crazy Cricket Farm, and I couldn't think of it. And I heard the dialogue leading up to it. And I blurted out something. Well, we got to go out there. I'm going to go milk the chickens. And oh, wait, no, we can't. Shit. Sorry. I'm going to go. And I just walked off the stage, and it was dead silence. And everybody's going, did that 10-year-old just say shit? There's, So, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I
left town.
Packed up and left.
I just left.
Can't show your face anymore after that.
Oh, God.
The 10-year-old failure.
Yeah. I wasn't a good farmhand.
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh, painful. So, is there anything? Did I ask you this? Did we have anything to look forward to? You going to, whether it's conventions or?
Oh, I am going to a
can you talk
convention.
about something?
Yes. I am going to a convention in Utah this coming Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Thursday through Saturday.
Salt Lake City?
Salt Lake City.
I've heard of it.
And then the next one, I'm going to one in Dallas, I think, come in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Now, which of your characters, whether animated or on screen or what have, which, especially when you go to conventions like that, who do they jump on? Who do they glom onto?
It all depends, you know.
Yeah.
You know, this is the 40th anniversary of the thing. And so the last couple of conventions, I got a lot of Childs, a lot of Thing, you know? and a lot of Goliath, because this is 30th anniversary of Gargoyles.
Wow.
So that was
a quick 40, 30 years.
yeah,
Huh?
right. And I think it's around 30 years for, in fact, it's definitely 30 years for Mary. And, and
Something about
and Men at
Mary,
Work.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
So I mean, you know, for some reason they've been cropping up a lot lately.
I know.
But I also get a lot of Platoon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I would think. Whew. Some milestones there, man.
Yeah, listen, no complaints and no regrets, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know, nobody promised you anything in this life.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you can, you know, one of my teachers used to say that I cannot guarantee that you will be rich, and you can believe all that stuff, you know, you see in the papers. But if you work hard, you can make a living. And sometimes that's not always true. I mean, you know, you know, but one of my ambitions used to be to work in the regions. I used to want to work all over the country and different, you know. That didn't fruition.
Like the Catskills and all that.
I would, you know, just out of curiosity, but I want, you know, like, but an opportunity just came up, and that I might be able to play the Guthrie in a year or so.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be very nice.
Yeah.
You know, some of the you know, more reputable regional theaters. You know, I mean, but again, I've been lucky, touring plays all over the country, in some wonderful cities around the world. You know, I've got to, you know, I mean, like I said, there ain't no booby prize. When I finally get to meet St. Peter, I'm just gonna say thank you. I had a great time. I had a really, really good time. So whatever happens after this, that's okay too.
That's a great philosophy.
That's great.
Well, you know,
That's perfect.
I mean, you know, if you know, we make so much out of what's a Christian ethic versus a Muslim ethic or a Jewish ethic. Basically, I mean, in every spiritual practice I have ever come across, it basically says, be good to your fellow man. Treat your neighbor as you would yourself. You know, be good to people. Love your mother, love your father. You know, and honor God, the God of your understanding, whoever you think God is. And I mean, you know, the wonderful thing I love about, you know, Islam is the God in me greets the God in you. You know, you know.
Never heard that one. That's
Assalamu
nice.
alaikum.
Oh yeah.
I you know, it's
Nice.
it's a great way to look at the world. I mean, if you think that we are all fingers on the hand of God, all of us, like drops in the ocean of God, then why do I want to be nasty to you? We're all made of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't have to like you. I'm not going to like everybody.
Right.
But what I
But I don't have to go out of your way to.
I can respect you.
Yeah.
As just as another human being on the planet. You know, that mean I got to interact with you.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have to have lunch with you.
Yeah.
You know, but I can say good morning to you.
Yeah.
And go about my way.
Yeah.
And every once in and there's nothing that keeps me from, perhaps I just want to smile, say, hi, how are you? I mean, I don't know if you've had that experience, but I know that there are times when Bill Withers got that great song, "A smile from you might make these blues go away." I don't have to know you to get that. Somebody smiled at me just now. For me, I take that again as a God shot, because usually that happens when I'm having a particularly low moment.
Oh.
And I'm feeling less than and unworthy. And then,
Somebody up there noticed.
Yeah.
We'll send you a little bon mot.
You know that movie, A Double Life? Ronald Coleman. It's about an actor who plays Othello, and he finally, as he's dying, he says, "Funny the things that goes through one head. Just don't let him say I was a bad actor."
Yeah. Just don't let him say I was a bad actor.
That's
Other than that,
Is that a great line?
wow. Yeah. Well, that's like, not that it's an actor's joke. And then the guy says to Ms. Lincoln, he goes, "Yeah, I know. I get it. I get the whole assassination thing. But other than that, how'd you like the show, Mrs. Lincoln?" Okay, I get that one part.
Yeah.
But how was I? Jesus. Oh, that's incredible. Yeah. Well, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was a fun time.
is so
It was great
cool.
talking to you.
Great time.
So great. Phew.
Yeah, I'm glad you could make it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great surprise.
Timing
because
is everything.
Yeah, I was relegating myself to, damn, well, next week, maybe, whenever, we'll see what happens. Walk out and you're there, I go, oh, hell. Okay, let's do that.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
And you guys are right down the block. I live right down the block.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, wow.
Well, that was another episode of Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Thank you all so much for watching. Today we had Keith David joining us. Thank you again, sir, for being here. Really appreciate it. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We are so close to 100,000 subscribers, and we thank you all for it on YouTube. We really appreciate it. This podcast could not happen without you. We really believe that. It's really true. So we thank you all for that. And thank you to our patrons on Patreon. That was terrible.
Yeah, that's okay.
And thank you to our patrons. You can find bonus content on Patreon for those of you who don't know. There's additional interviews, bonus contents, and all that good stuff. So until the next time, we'll see you in the next one. This is Tuned In with Jim Cummings. Thank you very much.
Ciao.
But Wunderbar.
Nice.